This produced even more questions. The animal was able to wriggle its way forward through the water, almost as if it was swimming. But it would have been very slow without fins. So why hands with fingers? A possible answer came once again from Red Hill, the site of the first known forest. Here is also evidence of rich and varied life in a freshwater lake. Dr. Ted Deschler from the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia has been working here.
Fin spine of an acanthodian fish and made for a rigid pectoral fin.
Amongst other fossils, he has found one which gives a hint to the development of these fingers. It's a large tooth.
It might be juvenile.
This is a single tooth of Hyneria. The other tetrapods, such as Acanthostega and Ichthyostega and a few others from around the world, also lived in these freshwater environments in the late Devonian, along with predators like Hyneria. And that may have been part of the pressure which made the early tetrapods specialize in shallow water, using their early rudimentary limbs to get into shallow water and swamps to escape predation.
Hyneria would have been a ferocious hunter. Fossils indicate that it was covered with hard scales like armor and was a fast-swimming predator, something to hide from.
Hyneria would have been the most ferocious fish in the ecosystems at Red Hill. The body form in Hyneria is clearly an animal that was able to swim very quickly, start fast, chase its prey, grab its prey with huge teeth. On the contrary, the earliest limbed animals do not seem like they had the same kind of body plan to escape. So our ancestors and Hyneria was not a fair match.
When the early fish moved into fresh water, it was probably to escape its predators. But they also had primitive lungs and followed.
Interesting to see the limbs moving in 3 dimensions.
Dr. Clack was intrigued by the limbs of our early ancestor.
I would expect these bones to be moving backwards and forwards relative to the humerus, which they don't seem to be doing.
There are clues in a fish still swimming in Australian waters, the spotted handfish. It uses its slightly modified fins to clasp rocks on the sea floor or to wait in ambush for its prey.
So Acanthostega might have been doing something similar in its swampy river. It could have been pushing aside reeds and undergrowth that you can't really do with fins. We see the environment as being monsoonal, similar in some ways to the Amazon rainforest. And you have to imagine a swamp-filled environment with lots of weedy undergrowth, as well as leaves falling in from the trees that lived on the riverbank.
The early trees, by chance, not only dropped their leaves, more often they dropped entire branches. These would pile up in the shallows and provide an ideal hiding place. To move through such a tangled pile of branches, hands with fingers would be very useful. Possibly this was the reason our ancestor developed limbs.
Because these things were air-breathing and they were living in perhaps stagnant water, they were using their hands as props to raise the head out of the water so that they could breathe the air.
Chance has always seemed to play a part in evolution.
Ultimately, once you've got these slightly intermediate types of adaptations that are adapted to neither land nor water, but a bit of both, then you can build on that and gradually, over time, become adapted to more and more to land living properly.
There was one more step to take. The creature that was first to walk on land would not be Acanthostega. The earliest known footsteps on land are here on the west coast of Ireland. This was once a swamp at the foot of the Caledonian Mountains. These footprints were found in 1992. There were 260 steps made by an animal which put weight on the ground and moved its right and left feet forward alternately, like reptiles walk today. Those first footsteps may have been at night when it was cooler and safer. The earliest known animal to walk on land is called pedipes and came ashore perhaps 348 million years ago.